Welcome to Minutes by Minutes. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And we're here to talk about what goes on in the village, the township, you know, those government people that make laws and regulations that affect you.
That's right, Elgin. And whether you live in the village of Oxford, the village of Leonard Addison Township, or Oxford Township, these are the people that you elected, and the committees and the commissions that make decisions that directly affect you, whether you chose to go to that meeting or not, or go to a movie. And
Or go to a movie.
and
Well,
that's why we're here.
decisions, even if you go to a movie. Which movie do I go to? I don't know. Right? Anyway, we want to find out, too, what rumors are being spread.
Rumors. We have rumors, and you confirm them.
Yes, I do, occasionally. And also humor. Bubbling.
What would a meeting be without humor?
Right. And so you want to attend these meetings, just if nothing else, to check in on how our show is running and the rumors that are being made instead of, what do we say? Reasonable, rationale?
Just about everything we say is true. Just about.
Pretty much. Well, we have a couple of meetings that we need to talk about. Actually, I want to see if I can get 3 of them in today if we're lucky.
Oh, you're going for a hat trick.
Do you feel lucky? Okay. We're going to talk about Addison Township Board of Trustees and the Oxford Village Council, which had a lot going in this particular meeting. This just happened yesterday, so it's fresh news. And then if we get time, it's going to be the Village of Oxford Planning Commission meeting. All 3.
Wow, you chose a lot to bite off there, buddy.
Yep, I did. Okay. And with you, we'll bite it off together.
Yes, you betcha.
Okay. First one is Addison Township Board of Trustees. Of course, Bruce Pearson leads the board. Clerk Pauline Bennett is on that board. Treasurer Lori Fisher. Trustees, a fellow named Newby. A new guy named
He's a new
Newby.
guy, Newbie. Well, appropriate.
So Jacob is his first name, of course.
Okay.
And King and Garrick and Sent. By the way, Mr. Sent, he's on the one of the boards I'm on. I think the Pollyant Trail.
Is that sent or semphed?
Sent.
It has an F in there, doesn't
Well, that's
it?
Well, it does, but I
Is it
think
a
it's
silent
silent.
F? Silent F?
I think it is.
Oh, wow.
And if that's not right, let us know. This could be a
Okay.
rumor.
Okay.
Okay. So anyway, those people serve on that board. They ask anything from the public, and of course, what happened?
They looked at their shoes.
No.
No! You set me up.
Actually, the gentleman stood up and he complimented the board.
Wow.
And for giving raises, which you hardly ever hear that, for the fire department and so forth.
I'd like to give a compliment.
But he gave the compliment because they weren't able to or unable to raise taxes in order to do this. So they're able not to raise taxes
And still give a raise.
and still give a raise. That's pretty nice, huh?
Wow. What did they do?
Makes you want to move from Brandon, right?
They must pick up on the federal government and print some money.
Well, we could spread that rumor too. Okay. So the first thing that came up was an IT agreement, for the computer.
Information technology.
Yep, for the computer specialist. And the point was that their system is becoming
Old.
outdated. Yeah, well, you say old, I say outdated. Tomato, whatever. Anyways, it's about ready
Well,
to...
you can be outdated and not fashionable, but if it's old, it crashes.
Well, in this case, it runs rather slow.
Well,
So that's the main
that's just before
complaint.
the crash.
Yeah, just before the crash. And so they thought that a budget of about $18,000 would help to renovate their system. Good idea to put that kind of money in. May
And
not come
as
to that
time
much.
goes on, that degree of performance gets cheaper and cheaper, really.
Right. Well, with this, you have to consider the maintenance plan too. Not only you put the equipment in, but it has to be maintained.
You got to call
know
Bob
those-
the repairman.
Those little head crashes that that some people have. all
Bumping
the
into
time.
walls, you mean?
Yeah, right. That one too. But anyway, so there was a note that under $20,000 isn't required for approval for the board. That actually the township supervisor can just go forward. But Bruce Pearson.
With an
he's-
executive order?
Yep. But Bruce Pearson said, no. He said, I want to keep, everything out on the table and let everybody
good.
know what's going on.
Good.
So he said they will get 3 bids and he'll bring it back to the board.
Excellent.
Good move there, Bruce. Might have saved him. They had a tree all picked out for him. But that might have done it. Okay, road chloride agreement. Remember they're spreading salt all over, or chloride?
Is that
And
sodium chloride or calcium chloride?
It could be.
Yes, indeed.
Take a note.
How about potassium chloride? I don't know. Probably calcium chloride.
You think so?
Is that for the summer?
Yes.
Then it'll be calcium chloride.
Are you sure?
No.
I didn't think so. I could tell by the twinkle in his eye he wasn't really sure. And I really didn't know where he was going with this one either. So,
But you started it.
oh, yeah, right. That's what my brother used to say all the time. But anyway,
It was true.
it was probably mostly true. Let me see. What else did they do? Oh, yeah. They had allocated $54,033.98 for chloride.
Oh.
To do that, and it was approved again. So that settled the road situation. You folks are going to have dust down this year. No dust all over the place because of the chloride.
You'll have no dust all over
No
the place.
dust all over the place. Only on the dashboard. Only on the rear of your car as you're going down the road. All those things. You ever have that happen?
Oh, yeah. You kick it up when it's wet.
Oh yeah. You can't wait for somebody who's been tailgating to get behind on it.
Yeah.
I don't want.
It kind of encourages you to keep that safe distance behind the car in front of you.
It does. It does do that. At least you can remind them if you speed up, right? But you can only go, I think, on these gravel roads. I think the law requires a minimum of 40 miles an hour. But
55.
But they're going to lower it.
Who is?
The state regulation or laws are
The
going to allow
state is, or it will allow the
state's gonna give-
municipalities to
It's
do
going to
it?
allow the municipalities to decrease
Okay.
the speed.
That's been a big thing for a number of years.
It has. You can imagine traveling down a road 50 miles an hour in gravel, dust, dirt,
It's the potholes what get me.
big potholes.
You betcha.
Could happen. But anyway, they grade them too, so you folks are going to have fairly good roads out there. Fire chief report. Jerry Morawski stood up, and he said that he did talk about capital expenses and the cost of recovery. Remember we talked about that before?
That's right. That's right. Pay to play.
Yeah. I don't know if you're
Not playing, but
you're not
you know,
playing in an
but
ambulance, I'm sure.
It's a widely applicable term. How's that?
Right. But anyway, he pointed out that $115,000 was going to be rolled over from last year's because they didn't, that's how much money they had. And this year he's projecting $110,000 additional in projection of costs coming back to the township.
Wow.
So that's pretty good money, 200-some thousand. So the question is, hey, where's the money going? Well, it's going to go pretty much into our operating fund, for things, if we have extra money, we'll have a big party. No, we're not good.
So is that to recover cost, or is it actually to make a little bit of a profit?
Well, they're not necessarily in this to make a profit, but there's always equipment, on ambulances and also
part of
on
the budget,
fire,
isn't it?
Yeah, on the fire truck. It helps them, buy fire suits and things like that.
That's a good thing.
Yep, it is. So it's a way to tap into it, and it works for them. The next thing they did talk about was 2017-2018 budget, which they just reviewed rather quickly. Pretty much everything is in place.
2018 budget?
Yep.
Well, that's right. They go into 2018, and March is their beginning date for their fiscal year.
Tell me more.
I just did.
Okay. That's all I'm going to get, huh?
You betcha.
Okay, got it. Okay, so there was a resolution. Wages were approved for the fire department. Actually, the fire board met and they set what the increase is going to be for the firefighters. And
Are they
of course,
unionized
have to
out
go.
there?
Yeah, they are.
Okay.
But they had to go before, of course, the trustee board in order to get the final approval.
Right.
Get it enacted, and that's what they did. Just a formality, folks, and it was done. Let me see, what else? That's pretty much it. Public, they asked for public, if anybody wants to step forward and speak. Nobody spoke up. Everybody hid under chairs, so nobody wanted to talk. Supervisor's report was rather quick. He said that there were no major electrical problems during the last storm, which is rather unique for Addison Township.
We had a storm?
Well, yeah, we did. Rainstorm.
Oh, well.
We didn't get no snowstorm, but usually if it just sprinkles over there, they had electricity that would go down.
Sometimes if you listen to the television, they kind of get into hyperbole and describe storms as like, oh, there was a few drops out there, but that storm.
Right. Speaking of storms, we'll talk more about storms when we come back right after this, folks.
Canine Stray Rescue does just that. Rescue stray dogs for new families. But they need your help. Become a volunteer at Canine Stray Rescue League of Michigan. Take dogs for walks, help them socialize with others, and help them get adopted. Fill out an application and help a family add a new member today.
Welcome back to Minutes by Minutes. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And we're talking about storms. No. We're all finished pretty much with the Addison Township board meeting. It was rather short and sweet. The next one we're going to talk about is the Oxford Village Council meeting. Sue Bassarded is the president of that board. Eric Dolan serves on the board. Tom Kennis. Maureen Helmuth is on there as and let me see, Dave Bailey serves on that as well. And of course, Bob Davis, who's the attorney, he sits there, you know, as kind of a consultant. And Joe Young, of course, the village manager, always is there to answer questions and do the manager's report. And Susan Nasser is the recording clerk.
Not that I'd ever look at your notes, but you have Mr. Dolan as a pro tem. How is a pro tem different than a vice chair?
Well, if anything happens, well, they're pretty much the same.
Oh, well then.
Depends on which foreign language you're trying to use here.
I see.
Okay. If anything happens to the president, either the pro tem or that other person will step in. They'll take it over.
Okay.
Got that, huh? Okay. Susan Nasser, I want to mention that she's going to be leaving as a clerk.
Oh, that's too bad. She was really good.
Oh, she's really was. She hasn't deceased. She's still around.
I said she's really good.
Oh,
I didn't say she was.
All right. Was what? I'll clarify
And still is.
There, we have it, folks. You heard it from him. Anyhow, yeah, Susan's going to be leaving in March.
Oh.
So that's right around the corner.
Yeah. She's done a wonderful job for the village of Oxford.
Yep. Sorry to see her go.
Yeah.
Very intelligent, very smart lady. I don't know who they're going to get to fill that, but I guess there'll be somebody come along.
Yep.
What are you doing in your free time?
Not that.
Right. Anyway, they did the pledge, of course, got all the formalities out of the way. And this was actually a two-part meeting that they had. They had a call to the public at that time, and the public didn't step forward to say anything. And so then they went into closed session. That was rather quick. Part two, giddy up, came in. Okay. And part two...
what was the result of the closed session?
Well, they were discussing the police chief and who might take on the responsibility and the job of the police chief, being Chief Niemanowski is retired.
Okay.
Okay. And I'll tell you more about that because actually the first thing that they did after the roll call and the pledge was a presentation for Chief Mike Niemanowski, who was the police chief for the village for 17 years.
Wow, that's quite a career.
Yes, his wife was there and lots of different people who had worked with the chief over the years. He thanked those people for, backing him, working with him, assisting him, throughout the years. He did thank his father, who got him into this business to start with.
His father was a policeman?
His father wasn't a policeman. He said he was too short to be a police officer, but always wanted his son to be a police officer. So he said when the time came and there's an academy spot, he said, my dad said, look, okay, now you're going to go to the academy. He says, well, I guess I will. So he did. And he said, I'll do it for a couple of years. He said he went with the police department in Detroit, was with them for a number of years, I think 12 or 13 years, and left that job in order to take the police chief position here 17 years ago.
Wow.
And so he has quite a background, in terms of police work. He also praised Mike Solwald, who's a sergeant with the local police department downtown, with the village. And Mike, everybody knows Mike. He's all over. He's,
I've met Mike several times.
Yep.
Yeah.
Really smart young man. Knows how to work with the community.
Good people person.
Yep, and actually, Mike is the one that, there were two Mikes, Mike. Which one do you want? Well, anyway, Mike Niemanowski, he recommended Mike Sowald, for the chief's position.
That's always good to have an endorsement.
It is, and recommended him highly. Anyway, and he praised his officers too for the many years of assistance and getting down the crime, in this area by as much as 8% just last year. So they're doing a great job out there, your police force. If you see an officer out there, make sure you shake his hand and say, hey, thanks, I appreciate it.
Even if he gives you a ticket.
Right. That's probably the best time to shake his hand and say, please don't send me to jail. A good one. But we lose the fact that they're here to watch over our safety.
That's right.
Every day, and they take their lives in their hands just being out on the street. Chief Niemanowski's wife was there as well, and she stood up, tearfully thanked everyone who had helped her husband over the years too. And
Very nice.
They did single out Dave Bailey and Maureen Helmuth in particular, trying to and supporting the police force all these years. That was a nice thing for them to do. Mike Sowald, then he spoke and he thanked everybody and tearfully, and he choked back tears to say how great it was working with the chief, Niemanowski, over the years, and how he respected him and so forth. Pretty good tribute, to the chief.
Right.
Very well deserving, I think. Let me see. Maureen Helmuth then, she says, well, hold it, guys. I have a resolution. Oh, okay. What do you have? I'm going to do a proclamation for the chief.
A resolution and a proclamation?
Well, you got to do a resolution in order to do a proclamation. You got to get it approved by the council first. And so she did. She got the approval. And she read a proclamation on the many years that the chief had served the village. And it went on for quite a while. And all accolades, of course, for the chief. And handed him the plaque. So pretty nice. Chief, of course, shook hands with everybody. He saluted his officers. They were all there in rank. It was very nice, very well done. Good presentation. So we wish him the very best in his retirement, Chief, out there. Okay. Then they immediately, right after the chief was finished, they swore in Mike Sowald as the interim chief. Now, it doesn't mean he's going to hold this job position, although I think he will, because on the agenda they had, search for a
So he's acting
new
chief.
chief. He's acting chief.
Okay.
But I got a pretty good feeling with the thoughts of the community and so forth that he's going to be the next permanent guy, in that position.
Yeah.
I think it's great that we have both the sheriff's department.
I think they have to
and-
go through that formality,
Yep,
but
they do.
I
So
think
anyway-
the outcome is assured.
He raised his hand and he said he would do it. He said, you will? And he said, I will. So he did.
All right.
Okay. They had a call to the public and they looked around and everybody, again, even though it was crowded, hid under their chairs. Okay. Nobody wanted to speak. They said, okay, we have any bills for this month? They said, oh, do we ever? $616,000 worth of bills.
Whoa!
Ooh, yeah. Well,
You're not going to tell me that's all salt.
well, and they didn't go after the culprit either. I don't understand that, do you? You spent how much? Okay.
I'm sure it was well spent.
I'm pretty sure it was. It was well gone, I know that.
Well,
Yeah. Actually, the total was $616,132.29. Can't forget those little, things at the end.
a penny here, a penny there, and pretty soon
Penny
you're
here,
talking
penny
real
there.
money.
Yes, you are. Ka-ching, ka-ching. Next person that stood up was representing the Cable Commission. And that is William Service, and we'll tell you more about that when we come back right after this.
Welcome back to
Minutes by Minutes. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And we are talking about what goes on with the village council meeting. And we just got through talking about our new police chief.
That's right.
Mike Sowald.
That's right. One goes off into the sunset and another one comes in.
Yep. Riding is, well, no horses.
No horse, yeah.
Pretty fancy cars they have.
Right.
Pretty nice cars. Anyway, the next person that came to, let me see, who came? Oh, yeah. We said the Cable Commission.
That's right.
That was William Service spoke up, our station manager. Yes, right. And Bill said that in 2011, franchise fees were cut in half. Normally, franchise fees, you get 5%. And half of that, of course, 2.5%.
That's the amount coming from the village.
From the village. And those fees are paid how? Why?
Well, they represent, I believe, 5% of the gross bill of each customer added together. And if it's in that municipality gets that revenue and has the option of giving all of it or part of it to support the local public station.
Right.
Us.
Now, normally the plan, if you have a TV station locally, all of it goes usually to that station to support the station. The half is in there, and as far as the regulation or the law, that they can give you half is in case you don't have a TV station, and you can use that money for whatever purpose you want to use it for, chasing flies, shooting alligators, whatever you do. Here, right?
Alligators?
Well, it could be. I don't know. There are people that bring them down from the south and they bring them here, and we got alligators.
Just checking.
Okay. But anyway, it could be alligators. So anyway, Bill wanted to point that out, and also wanted to mention that over the last couple of years that we have increased our viewership 600%, which is quite a bunch.
You can pick us up on any one of three different ways. One is our actual broadcast. The other is on YouTube, and the other is on our website. We used to call it Peg Central, now it's called Vibit, but video on demand, and that's the trend that seems to be happening.
What's the website?
OCCTV.org.
Yeah, really easy to remember. William Service spoke before the council here and gave him all this information. He said that when he first came in a few years ago, they weren't doing a lot with Peg Central. And Terry Stiles, who's our executive producer, director, for the station here, she spoke up next.
You mean YouTube?
Yeah, for YouTube.
Right.
But anyway, but she spoke up, and she said that she was on the village council and actually was the president of the village council back in, I think it was 2003, was it? No, 2011, when this thing was discontinued. And she said the whole reason why it was discontinued, and she supported it, was because Peg Central wasn't meeting their demands. In other words, they weren't providing the programming necessary. And so she supported cutting that amount of money. Of course, the village needed extra funding at that time because things got tough for the village as well financially. But now that they've shown an increase in the Peg Central services, and also have received several awards at the station here in the meantime. And I think that all comes pretty much by the leadership of Bill Service, who his background, of course, is with Disney.
Right, he comes from the TV industry.
He does, and did manage several Disney stations in years past.
Actually started one, I believe.
He started one for them, yep. So anyway, he used his know-how in order to turn the station around. It's done very well. He's upgraded as far as all the equipment here is all new. It's all high definition quality. And
whenever Charter gets to broadcasting in high definition, we're ready to go.
Right. And it was pointed out too that that this township has their very own television station, and it supports all the local news and all the sports and everything that goes on. And actually, the station is part of the community out there.
And it gives the community a lot of visibility, not just in this area, but throughout Michigan.
Absolutely.
Through YouTube, through the video on demand. Great.
Yep. Well, after this presentation was given, Eric Dolan made a motion that it be tabled until they can hold a review at their budget workshop.
Right.
To see how it fits in, to the budget situation for the village.
And one of the key issues, and I believe they talked about it, was the fact that AT&T is encouraging all of their UVerse customers to switch to, was it DirecTV?
Yeah.
And if they make
They're
that,
losing a lot of money.
yeah, if they make that switch, that franchise fee gets cut off that they were getting from AT&T, and will simply disappear. And it could amount to about $130,000
Yep.
if theoretically everybody that's on UVerse quits
Right.
and goes to Direct.
And Mr. Service pointed this out, that, you know, what money there is in savings right now could easily be diminished
Oh gosh,
rather
yeah.
quickly.
Yeah,
So,
we'd start, as they say, drawing down.
yep, I've already started to put together a tin cup for you on the corner.
Thank you. Just give me the pencils.
I'm going
I'll
to be
there.
selling apples.
Give me the pencils.
Got it. And one thing I wanted to point out too is that the township, Oxford Township, they provide 100% of the franchise
They
fees.
have, and that's been historic.
Yep.
They've been a huge supporter of this station.
Addison Township, they give half also.
Yep.
Half the 5%, as does Leonard.
Yep.
So, matter of fact, they tried to get a meeting with the township, and I guess
Addison?
or Addison
And
Township.
How'd that go?
Didn't. They didn't allow, I guess didn't allow them to come before the board.
That's too
So,
bad.
yep. So I think they're still going to approach Leonard though and see what can be done there. But anyway, you folks, if you hear this, go to bat for the station here. Tell your political people out there that this is a station that you enjoy watching and want it to continue to grow as it has in the
If
past.
you're on UVerse, think about switching to Charter.
Yeah, I didn't say that, but
I-
I know. And I think just about everybody will. That's a rumor.
I hope.
Okay. The next thing that came up after this was an amendment that was required, or trying to get required, for a fellow named Dick Williams of Honeywell. And what they want to do is change all the lighting downtown to LED. And
Whoa. Downtown is LED.
well, it is. Part of it is. Part of it has been, and it's being converted. Actually, Don Brantley stood before the group, and he said, we have about $400 worth of bulbs right now, he said, that need to be put in, but we couldn't do it in the wintertime.
Those are what kind of bulbs?
LEDs.
The LEDs burn out?
No, they're still, what do they call them, the fluorescent or not fluorescent, but yeah,
Really?
yeah, they still got the old style bulbs in a lot of these. You know, I just went blank. You're supposed to
keep
fill
thinking of
those
the
in.
main Dragon downtown. That's all LED. There
Yeah.
might be others.
Yeah, there are some LEDs that they've already put in, but there's others that need to be replaced yet. And the question, you know, the gentleman pointed out, well, if there's a transformer in there, it can overheat an LED and shorten the life of the LED and so forth. So they put the LEDs usually, you know, in the post, you know, to keep it away from it.
True.
But the
But
cost, but there's more savings involved too as you look down the road, because he said the water plant, the DPW has 3 motors that are 140 horsepower motors, and all 3 should be converted to variable drives. That would save them a lot of money.
Somehow I thought you were going to relate that to the LEDs.
Yeah, you put a string of LEDs in the power plant, 145
There's a
horsepower motor.
connection going on here. I don't know where it's going.
Speaking of sparks, what's coming up? Sparky.
We do have meetings. And on 2/20, which is President's Day, by the way, the Village of Oxford Downtown Development Authority will be meeting at 6 o'clock. And on 2/21 at 7 o'clock, the Village of Oxford Planning Commission, sometimes they get canceled, so check. And at 6:30 that same day, the Oxford Board of Education will be meeting at Clear Lake Elementary on Drainer Road. And on 2/23 at 7 o'clock, the Oxford Township Planning Commission. And on 2/27 at 4 o'clock, the Oxford Area Cable Communication Committee will be meeting.
I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
We'll catch you next time right here on Minutes by Minute.
See you then.